Okay, let's start with a really mind-bending idea. You know that feeling of time just passing? The feeling that yesterday is gone forever and tomorrow isn't here yet? Well, what if I told you that's not really happening out there in the world? It's all happening right in here. Your entire rich experience of time is being generated by those billions of neurons firing inside your head. And that, of course, leads to a massive question. We feel time flowing, like a river carrying us forward. But what if that feeling is just plain wrong? Let's really dive in. Is the steady forward march of time just a grand illusion that our minds are creating? To even begin to tackle that, we've got to explore this pretty huge clash between how we feel time works and what modern physics actually suggests is going on with the universe. This image really gets to the heart of it. There are two big competing ideas. Up top, you've got presentism. This is the one that feels totally natural. Only now is real. The past is a memory, the future is just a possibility. But then there's the one below it, eternalism, which is often called the block universe. And this is where things get weird, because it suggests the past, the present, and the future, they all exist just as real as each other, all at once. Let's stick with eternalism for a second, because even though it feels completely wrong, it's actually the view that most physicists tend to favor. It says that now is just your current location in time, just like here is your current location in space. It means your past self and your future self are just as real as you are this very second. They're just at different spots along the timeline. So here's the really crucial part. If this block universe idea is correct, it means our most fundamental experience, that feeling of time flowing forward, it has to be a trick. One physicist put it this way: the objective world simply is. It does not happen. Our conscious minds are just kind of crawling along that timeline, creating the illusion that it's all moving. Okay, let's pull back from the cosmic scale for a minute and bring this right down to Earth. Actually, let's bring it right inside our own bodies, because whether time flows or not, our biology is totally obsessed with it. So let's talk about the clocks we all have ticking away inside us. And the big one, the master timekeeper, is the circadian clock. This is our internal, roughly 24-hour cycle that controls pretty much everything, from when we feel tired to when our body temperature peaks. It is truly the underlying rhythm of our lives. And this is just fascinating. It proves that this clock is really and truly internal. So up top, you see this mouse is active at night when it's dark, right? But look what happens when it's put into constant, total darkness. The rhythm just keeps going. It's free running on its own schedule. It proves it doesn't need the sun or any other external cue to keep time. Sure, that's a mouse, but what about us? Well, whenever humans have volunteered for these wild, long-term isolation experiments where they're totally cut off from any clues about the time of day, things can get really, really strange. You have to hear this story about the geologist Michel Siffre. He spent 179 days, that's almost 6 months, completely alone in a cave. When he finally came out, he was absolutely shocked. According to his own body's count, he was convinced that only 151 days had gone by. His own subjective sense of time had slowed down by nearly an entire month. All right, so we've gone from daily rhythms. Now let's zoom in even further. Let's go to the most fundamental level of the brain, the connections between single brain cells. Because this is where we're going to see how the arrow of time is literally wired into our neural circuits. So the philosopher David Hume pointed out a rule that seems completely obvious to us. The cause must be prior to the effect. You drop a glass, then it shatters. Simple, right? But how does a brain, which is just a collection of cells, actually learn this fundamental law of the universe? Well, the answer is this incredible process called spike timing-dependent plasticity. But forget the fancy name. Just think of it like this. If one brain cell fires, and then right after it, a second one fires, and this happens over and over, the brain strengthens the connection between them. It's like paving a dirt path that gets used all the time. This is how the brain physically learns that one thing leads to another. It learns causality. The simplest, most powerful way to remember this is neurons that fire in sequence wire in sequence. Our brain literally builds its model of the world based on the precise timing of events, right down to the millisecond. So let's step back for a second. We've seen that physics kind of questions the whole idea of time flowing, but our biology is built on it. So where does that leave us? I think it's time to reframe the whole thing. The brain's greatest trick isn't being fooled by time, it's creating it. Seriously, your brain is a time machine. I mean, think about it. It's constantly using memories of the past to make predictions about the future. It tracks time across all kinds of scales, from microseconds to seasons. It's the very thing that generates that subjective feeling of time passing. And maybe the most amazing part, it allows us to do mental time travel. And that ability, that's the game changer. That is what makes us human. The power to project ourselves into the future is what allowed our ancestors to stop just reacting to the world and start actively creating their future. This is everything from planting a seed today for a harvest months from now, all the way to building entire civilizations. So let's circle back to where we started. Is the flow of time an illusion? From a purely physics perspective, maybe, but if we just call it an illusion and walk away, we're completely missing the point. Because this so-called illusion is the brain's single most powerful tool for survival. It's not a bug in our system, it is the absolute greatest feature of the human mind. It's what gives us the ability to learn, to plan, and to build a future. The power to imagine, to predict, and to create the future is literally hardwired into your brain. So, the only question left is, what will you build with it?